Up in Baltimore, at the site of the Francis Scott Key bridge collapse after the Dali hit it, they are making great strides here in removing those containers off the front of the bow of the ship. Now, they had a goal of supposedly about 175. And so far, as of the governor's press conference this morning, they announced that they have removed about 120 containers off of the front of the Dali ship so far. And in fact, you can see here what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Now let's take a look at this picture that the governor showed us today. So here's the photograph that the Unified Command released this morning to us. So here you can see the front of the Dali here. And you can see, looks like they already emptied out this entire area, because now you're just down to the empty bottom right along here. And they got all of these out of the way. And then earlier today, they also, you see this stack of these leaning containers right here. They moved these out of the way earlier today. So that was cool, because it was funny. In my video last night, I had just pointed out, when are they going to get rid of these things? You'd think they would want to get these out of the way too. Well, they finally did that today. So here you can see they gently lifted them off this morning. They spun it around there, took it right off of the ship with the crane, and they brought it right over to the barge and just set it down. So that is going to forever change the landscape view of the Dali now, because you're not going to see any more leaning containers resting across the top of the bow. And also today, the Secretary of the Navy, Carlos Del Toro, was in town there in Baltimore and was getting briefed. That's him in the gold hat at the Unified Command Post as to the latest status of how they're doing with clearing the channel. Now I have a question that's come up, and the question I'm wondering here is, what is that FBI truck doing that's on the remaining part of the roadway where the bridge fell apart, and it's all overlooking the Dali right now? What is that thing there for? And I have my suspicions.
Why? You've got nothing to be suspicious about.
I get paid to be suspicious when I got nothing to be suspicious about.
So by now, many of you have probably heard the story that earlier this week on the 16th, the FBI came and boarded the MV Dali. And it seems kind of strange why they waited this long, but apparently they're looking here, it says, into whether the crew members of the Dali knew there were issues with the cargo ship before they left the port on the morning of the Key Bridge collapse. Okay, so let's take a look at the area we're talking about. It's right here on this end of this remaining part of the roadway of the bridge overlooking the Dali. This was taken on March 31st, so roughly 5 days after the collapse. And so if we zoom into that area there, you can see it doesn't really look like there's any vehicles sitting up there right now at the present time. So this was on March 31st. However, what a difference a day makes, because here we are on April 1st, and as the scene has gotten really busy around there, now suddenly there's a few vehicles at the end of the pier. And what have we got there, folks?
The police have themselves an RV.
All of you relax. Matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Police action was inevitable. Let them fumble about outside and stay calm. This is simply the beginning.
Okay, now here's another shot on the same day, April 1st, just slightly different angle. This one's a lot clearer. And here we can see much clearer detail exactly what's going on there on top of that bridge. And so this possibly is a generator truck right here. This is the vehicle in question, the federal black vehicle there. This is a pneumatic mast. This is similar to what the news crews use, like when they're broadcasting live from the scene. Something looks like very similar, and there's all sorts of strange antennas and stuff on here. And then they've got other stuff next to it as well. A little hard to figure out what exactly they're doing with that. Now, your first impression here might be, okay, maybe the FBI brought that vehicle in and it's a comms vehicle for something. But I'm not so sure that that would be the case, because I don't think these guys need the FBI there for their comms or any of that stuff. All of these Marine professionals, the Coast Guard, everybody in the Unified Command, the salvage people, they've already got all of their communications. They're already talking to each other on the Marine frequencies and everything. I don't think they need anything else from the FBI. So that, to me, eliminates that. I think the FBI has that vehicle there so that they can jam the frequencies. And it's probably for the drones. And I don't think that the FBI is part of this multi-jurisdictional force that they've got going in there, you know?
I'm attached to a multi-jurisdictional federal task force.
If there is a federal task force, I want to know about it.
Now, looking at this photo given to us by the Army Corps of Engineers, you can see a truck up here on the bridge from this angle too. So let's take a closer zoom in there. And you can see in more detail the little setup that they've got next to it here on the right-hand side. See this? So, yeah, they're doing something there with this. And then just a few days ago, on April 15th, the Army Corps of Engineers released this nice panoramic shot here. And this probably offers us the clearest view of this truck to date. Let me zoom all the way into it here. And here you can see with crystal clear detail what this thing is doing here. I don't really see any labels on it. It doesn't say FBI or anything, at least not that I can see. But look at these antennas and stuff all over the place on it. You got this one here. You got this other pneumatic telescopic antenna. This one's got a light on it, probably due to the height. So there's your truck right there. Wonder what its mission is right now. Now this truck has pretty much been there every day since April 1st, and it's probably going to stay there. So there it was yesterday afternoon on the 18th. And perfect timing here too, as a barge is coming through. That's that new southern channel, the alternate channel that opened up a couple of weeks ago. And of course, here's the truck again here, still there this morning on April 19th. Now check this out. You got to see this. Okay, so now watch the timestamp here. When it gets up to 55, 1238 and 55, you're going to see this back section here fall off of that truss. So just keep your eye on that spot right there. You'll see it bust off and fall into the water. See? Boom. Right there. Splash. So apparently they're stuck trying to pull this truss up out of the water. Okay, now I slowed it down for you and zoomed in on it. So wait till it gets to 1238.55 and you'll see it. Just look just above the surface of the tub. See how the back part of it just fell off of it? And here's the splash right there. Coming up, boom, there's your splash. And I hope there was nobody under it and any other little boats or anything when it did. Okay, so now getting back into why the FBI would be getting involved in something like this. So from the very first update that the Unified Command gave us on March 30th, so the verbiage was very light here on this very first press release. It was very simple, and they just basically mentioned the 2,000-yard maritime safety zone and 1,500 feet above the ground and all of that. So it was fairly friendly, but you're going to see them start to step up the verbiage now. So then here on the April 7th update, the Unified Command kind of changed the verbiage a little bit. They said, with recent incursions by unmanned aerial systems, i.e. drones, the public is reminded that the Unified Command continues to maintain this 2,000-yard maritime safety zone. And so the numbers haven't changed yet, but they are addressing for the first time the fact that they've been seeing a lot of drones coming into the area. So then by Thursday, April 11th, on their update, they really stepped up the verbiage here. And now they're saying there is a zero tolerance policy regarding any drone use anywhere within the no drone zone established by the FAA. Anyone who attempts to fly a UAS drone in any prohibited manner may be subject to arrest, prosecution, fines, and or imprisonment. And, you know, it's possible that maybe that's not even an FBI vehicle. But come on, I think it is. Maybe you do too. I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. But come on, this thing is a federal black vehicle right here. And this looks like so many of the other vehicles that the FBI has, like your bomb squads and all of these other specialty trucks that they drive around with sometimes. So this is why I think that the FBI is possibly jamming the frequencies up there of all of the drones to prevent them from coming anywhere near that airspace. So if you were thinking of flying a drone up there, you better have second thoughts. Because not only is it illegal, and if you get caught, man, you could be in some really hot water. But it looks to me like if you were to send your drone into that area anyhow, and if they're jamming those frequencies, you're going to lose communications with your controller and the drone in between the two. So if you lose communications between your controller and your drone, man, you're going to lose that drone, and that would be bad. But then it brings up another question too, is how was the NTSB able to get in there and use a drone then? So it's possible that they have to get permission, and then the FBI maybe turns off the jammer and gives them time to get in there and get their video, whatever they need to do, and then they turn it back on again to prevent any other drones from the area. Because I bet there's sneaky people all over the place trying to get their drones into that space. And check this out, this was March 27th, and there's no FBI truck on the end of that bridge. And then just today, the Unified Command released for us this infographic here, which shows us the new temporary Fort Carroll channel that they added. Now, there's going to be, remember, the federal channel is right here. There's where the Dali is. This is the one bridge pier here, and here's the other bridge pier. So the federal channel was right there, and they're going to make that alternate channel at the end of April that's 35 feet deep. That's right here. Today they had the Coast Guard out, and they were setting up the buoys to mark this new temporary alternate channel. This is for essential business travel now, for the business ships. And this will have a 20-foot deep draft. Oh, and just a reminder, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to watch this other video that I did in the FIU bridge collapse. You will love that one of my best ones yet. And then check out this other video here also on how to install laminate flooring in your house, because I do all sorts of engineering projects here for you. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see all of you on the next one.